Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv, where every day we're doing great FileMaker training and having lots of fun doing it. And I am glad you all are here with us through our journey. We are here at our normal broadcast location. If you want to support the channel, as a reminder, push the bundles button right here and just take out your credit card, buy 5 or 10 copies of these bundles here. That would be really great. That way I can pay Margaret and everyone's happy with that. Or if you've already bought a bundle, we greatly appreciate it. Just renew it when it comes up. That would be awesome. Pivoting to Christian Schmitz, who is now bored out of his mind. Christian Schmitz, say something important.
No, that's fine.
There he is. He's here. He is here
happy
now.
to be here.
All right, so let's move forward with learning about FileMaker. And what are we doing today?
How does your error capture work? I don't understand it.
All right, so Christian, you want to share your screen? Tell us how error capture works within your plugin, and then we'll go into printing.
Let me open my database. Somewhere you write a script. So the plugin keeps the error state by script. So you can have several scripts running in parallel on server, and every script has its error state. So let's say we cause an error. Let's say we just call a function. I don't know what function could we make. Well, maybe a DynaPDF function. We had it yesterday. Okay, I just call a function. No parameters. So this will give me an error probably. So let's see, we debug this. And we take a look on the data viewer, and I step over it, and it's gone. Okay. Try again. Step, and we get here an error. DynaPDF is not initialized. So we have now set a flag internally in the plugin that there's an error.
Okay, so hang on one second. Let me interject something. So down here is FileMaker's own error capture system. The Monkeybread errors and error capture system are totally parallel and not related and don't interact with each other that I'm aware of, right?
Yeah.
So that's
a thing we had to decide 7 years ago. We used to return error codes, but then people would always complain because they would get a question mark and no error text here. So it would maybe just say 1500 or whatever, would show a number and then no message. And if people just looked on the variable, it would have a question mark.
Okay.
And we got so many support calls. So early on, we switched to just return a text value with an MBS prefix and put in a text message. So going back to the script, usually what we do after we cause an error, we check for the error state. So we ask here, MBS is error. And that's just a function returning a Boolean without changing the error state. So this is a special function.
Okay, so it's returning effectively a 1, right? So
yeah. 0 or 1. It's just a Boolean. So you can just check, and here you could say display a dialog and say something wrong.
Everyone following this Boolean, I climb. Okay, back up. So here's the deal real quick. When you write code up here, I think we're okay now, but when you write code up here at the top, Mark, if you want to look at this on line 3, right? So when you write this code, it's not really a full complete sentence. It's like saying, is Margaret? And when I'm training people, that don't make sense. What I would prefer to say is something that it's a sentence that makes sense. Is Margaret happy? Yes or no? So just for I know, Christian, this is beneath you. I ask you to please humble me or be nice to me. And if we were going to write it out in full, great depth, MBS comes back with a number or a string. What comes back from that?
This is returning a Boolean. Do you want to rename this?
Well, just say, what if you said is equal to 1 or equal to 0, right? You see what I'm saying? I'm just for basic training.
I can put here equal 1. There,
okay, stop. Everyone stop. Now for training, and I'm not picking on Christian, this is what professional programmers do. It's the problem that I have, is that now it makes sense. Is Monkeybread error equal 1? there's a verb, a noun, and a direct object. And if you would do sentence diagramming and all that kind of stuff, it's all in there. It makes sense. I can speak it as English. I would prefer to write it this way. I'm not telling Christian to do that. But when you see this, sometimes you say, is Ruben? Is Ruben what? Ruben, you should know, either 0 or 1. Is Ruben? The problem is everyone walks into the room, they're not sure if you're a new developer what that means. So anyway, that's a thing. So is error present? Yes. Yeah, so I'm used to is error that I can't think of any other way to prove. Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's basic. So Jesse, you're more of a have a history of being a professional developer. It's shorthand because I have developers that would argue with me that that's wasting 3 characters of space. If I have training people, those extra 3 characters complete the sentence logically, right? Verbally out their mouth. So anyway, sorry, Christian. I just wanted to.
Yeah, so if I write it this way, I have 2 more tokens, and FileMaker takes a few nanoseconds longer to first compare the result to 1, and then compare the result of this.
I know training is slower. I'm just saying, right? Difference between high performance and so go ahead, keep going. You're good.
Let's say I put another error here, to call a different function. And no, I don't like to have this else error thing here. So maybe we do something differently. So we came up with a thing to say the plugin could collect all these errors. Like we make a lock. So there's a clear errors function.
Okay.
And then on the end, we can say if it jumps to the documentation. So if we had errors, if we had any error, then we can ask the plugin for the log. So there's an error log function, and yeah, we can of course show the error log. I tested, so I get this error here, yeah. And did I put an exit script here? No. If we had errors, it's 1. Oh, let's step through it. Why did this exit so quickly?
You can get rid of the is one if you want. So if that helps you.
Did I mistype here? Why doesn't it return 1? That's a question. You know, when I show something live here, unprepared, this is...
Yeah, there's no problem because everyone likes watching this happen.
2.
So you have a 2.
So 2. Oh yeah, it has 2 errors. Yeah.
Yeah. So get rid of that. That's fine. Or greater than 0. Great.
So I disable this one and let me run again. And we got a log, and the log is empty. Why is it empty? Oh yeah, I have to type a variable name. Run again, and here's our log.
Okay,
so the log is a JSON, and it shows all the errors in the script and all the subscripts in between. So it has the function name, it has the result from the plugin, it has all the parameters, it records the file name, the script name, and the timestamp. And it allows you to check what went wrong after a big script, which may call hundreds of MBS functions.
We have questions here, so can we go back and ask questions? People have questions for you.
Yeah.
This is great. So if you go back to the code, let's go back to your code. Okay, so MBS is error will return a Boolean 0 or 1, correct?
Yeah.
Had errors will be the number of errors that occur, which could be 0, or it could be a larger number, correct?
Yeah.
And so you could just say had errors greater than 0, and you could skip this line 6 up here, right? You could skip that probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can just remove this because we do a couple of MBS calls, and then we check if something went wrong.
And then you can get the actual log, which is super useful.
So you remember this things where we used MBS with DynaPDF to build a book? We call hundreds of MBS functions. So just checking for an error in between would be nice, and so you don't need to go through in the debugger and find the one wrong line.
People like this a lot. The question for Ruben was probably only half listening. Then I started talking about basic training, but I like this because this is, once again, for Ruben, had errors. I understand where you just say if, and then you know that a Boolean's coming back, but that's kind of a foreign concept for new developer programmers. So I'm always kind of pausing to make sure that people understand that. So I personally, from a training instructor perspective, would prefer to say, if this, right, then equal to or greater than, and then some other thing or something over there. So if this is something and this, as opposed to just if Ruben, right? Does that make sense? So that's the idea behind that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or otherwise. I'm just saying it's a training issue. So,
So
all
this
right.
is a per script.
Ruben likes your log function, the error log.
Error log. Someone asked about adding errors from FileMaker. Like, could we go to, let's say, go to field. Let's cause an error. How can cause an error?
Go to a layout that
let's-
doesn't exist, or by name or something.
Okay, go to layout.
And then put a
So-
name in there where you code the name by calculation or something. That'll
Name
fail.
by calculation, XXX.
Yeah.
Not safe for work. So we can't go there. If we step through.
See, you said that so dryly. I didn't even. Margaret's laughing, and I missed it. Okay, so there's your 105.
Yeah,
Yep.
missing. So we want to get that in the error log.
Okay.
How would we do that? Well, it turns out we have a function called add to error log, so you can add something to the error log. And how would you do that? We have a sample in the documentation, a custom function. So we would just define here, take a let statement from our documentation, paste it in. So here add FileMaker error to log. So I save this. Oh, last error. This got renamed, didn't it? Get last error
Plus there
detail.
detail. Yeah.
No, it's just a detail. I may need to update the documentation on this. So, so we got a custom function here, and now we can here say set variable, and we can call it what was add FileMaker. So I know this line will use our custom function to add here error 105 to the log.
Okay.
So well, if FileMaker provides an error message, it should be here.
I have a question. So is it, I mean, and then once again, this is not, it's kind of here nor there, I guess, a little bit, but I thought that Claris was adding better capabilities for error trapping and error logging, because errors have always been so underserviced by Claris. Here we go. This is good. Because when I look at this, it doesn't give you much. Look down there. It gives you ODBC stuff, execute SQL stuff, gives you like Ruben stuff, right? For actions that attempt to connect to a host, SSL, for external scripts, which is error if a specified plugin, curl, burps, other. So it's basically like kind of seniory level, intermediate to senior level extra information. It doesn't give you extra information on kind of basic to intermediate FileMaker errors, if that makes sense.
So yeah. So you can, of course, read that on the documentation. So all the functions are here in the documentation. There's an add to error log function, and I just copied the sample here. And you can just use it in your scripts to catch all the errors from the MBS plugin, and then if you want, add the FileMaker errors. Yeah, I just thought about we could add a parameter here to make it even more useful. Like here, let's say context or whatever. And then we put here in the log context or the JSON string, so a little modification. Okay, now the function takes an error. Let's see, go to layout XXX, and we can just put in whatever text we like to have there in case of an error. So let's see. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, so it actually even sets up. That's cool.
But just
Okay.
to give you a little bit context, what it was about.
Mm-hmm. That
why
makes
you have an
sense.
error.
Larry says this is a super easy way to create a comprehensive error log. And David Angel says, is this client only?
No, this should work on a server.
So if you
So
have
that's what I said with here, per script thread error log. So if you run a PSOS script, a data API script, WebDirect script, scheduled script, FileMaker runs it in a thread. That's a thing for, well, if you are into computers. So a thread is, yeah, what could I say?
it's like it's its own process, like on a
Yeah, it's like a
processor.
program within a program.
Yep.
So it runs commands and because you can have several threads, you can have several code executing on different CPU
Yep.
cores at the same time. So in FileMaker, you can on a server, you can use perform script on server to start maybe a script 4 times, each giving its own context by, let's say, go to a record. So each script could do its own work, like make a PDF, and then the plugin would keep the error log per thread, so each script has its own error log.
Ruben or NJ from Australia says it would be really great, Christian, if the script line number could be added to the log. So like line number 9 or line 10 or wherever the error is.
Yeah, well, if you have an error from newer FileMaker functions, like they have for the transaction stuff, they include line numbers in this error detail. So, but not for any error. But you can also use FileMaker's log thing. So it's that error logging here.
This
So,
writes it to the local computer,
it's in a
right?
text file. Huh?
Yep. So it saves
So-
that file to the documents directory, right? Doesn't it save it there?
Yeah, script errors log is a file now in my documents folder. I just found it.
Okay.
So as you go to layout, so let's see, that's
So
line 7.
yeah, so there's the line right there.
There's
The error number is
7.
105, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's in there. See, that's the thing. There's a lot of little script error things that are going on, but this one's kind of a funky one because it writes to the users. It's one of those things that Claris built, and someone probably said, "Yeah, it's a great idea," but it's really underused because every client creates their own error log. So if you want to look at it and see what's going on with the user, you have to script in your own. You could do this with write a script that goes and finds that text file and brings it in and either attaches the text file as a document or it imports the document into like a table, a log table, right? But so
Yeah.
if you have 50 users and they're all having errors, you have to run that script that's going to retrieve this 50 times, right? 50 different text files.
Yeah, and you get the complaints from the users on why you are writing into their logs for documents for.
On a Mac, on Windows, you get errors about that on Windows? Does it pop that on Windows?
No, I mean that you write something to the documents folder from the user, and they may complain that they don't want to see that the log file there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right, because it's visible. See, this is another really important one. And I'll just bring this up briefly here. So, a lot of times when I'm doing things, I write things to the desktop, which makes a mess. But I'm a pretty aggressive person that cleans my desktop. My wife and Jacob Taylor, you all know Jacob, they throw things on the desktop, they never clean it. And then the icons go there's no empty space on their desktop. So the way for people like that, you want to save it into their temp directory, but you can't, I don't think, direct that text file, that FileMaker log file to be saved to the temp directory, right?
So we could make it hidden.
No, is that an operating? That's like a cloaking device for a file in the. Oh yes, we have to do this. Oh please tell me this
So
is so
let's
cool.
say if the file exists.
All right, this is where we get a meme
for
ships with cloaking devices, Ruben, or frogs with cloaking
hidden
devices.
one. So let's see. We need a path. MBS, let's see, that's folders, user document. So we need to know where. So that's how I would do it with the MBS. Path add path component. So we take the folder, we add the file name, what was it? Script errors, log. So all in one line. Now you may want to.
Can you bring it over so we can see it?
There it is.
There it is. Okay, there we go.
There you see it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Let me run it. Oops.
We have a cloaking
It's hidden.
device
The
here.
file is away. So at least the file is hidden.
I love it. It's a cloaking device for files built into Monkeybread. That's cool.
Hide scripts, error, log file. Oh, well, if needed. But if it's not there, this function will just complain, but otherwise.
Yeah. Karsten Belling, welcome. Yeah, Karsten Belling is more of an advanced developer. Yeah, that's a difference between more of a professional developer and a brand new training environment. We have both people here in this group, Karsten. That's why that comes up. Because for some people it doesn't, it's like, what? But had errors is going to return a numeric value of the number of errors, right? We covered that momentarily. I just seeing this comment on Twitch. So good. All
Did we
right.
get David's question about centralizing error logs? That was just.
Well, okay, so David, so yeah, you could use the error log that Christian Schmitz is using. There's a number of different ways of getting errors and combining them and doing. You can even do stuff with Amazon and send them all to an Amazon log collector thing, which is interesting in and of itself. The answer is yes, you can do that. What we're showing here is where it saves it, how to hide it, and then since it's a log file, which is a text file, you can grab it, right? And you can post it, bring it either into a documents directory, or you can have it imported into FileMaker. That's the thing with FileMaker, though. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to do with 20 billion logs, right? Log entries. So maybe
let's just do something. I make an error table. Let's make an error table.
Yeah. Okay.
Quick and dirty. We just say we have here details. You have just one field for details. Let's see, we got on layout. This will be just a big block of text, usually JSON or whatever. So we could say here on the end of the script to say if we have an error log, we just drop it in the database. And I will just show you how to do it with the MBS plugin because, well, that's why I'm here. So FM in that record. So I will just say file name is, get file name. Table name is errors. The field name is details. And the value is $log. Now let's run the script. It shows me the error and it writes this JSON to the logs table, to the errors table.
That's very
And
cool.
now,
Go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So let's do this a little bit more. Like we could have a subscript for this, but maybe we just have it here. On the end, we could say our logs file from FileMaker is script errors log, this path. We could say if MBS file exists. So if the log file is there, we can just say here again insert. And now the value we insert is just something like MBS text read text file $path UTF-8. So UTF-8 should match. So and we can just run the script and we get 2 new records. The second one is here our current script errors log file. Maybe we should then, if you like, you could clean up. I mean, why not? MBS. Oh, I have to go to the other one.
You probably want to delete the log after you. Yeah, I was going to say delete it after you import it, right? So otherwise, Margaret, if you keep importing, you're going to get duplicate entries, right, for the errors.
So this is kind of an universal error catch, like maybe we do the MBS after the FileMaker. So here, check for FileMaker errors. And here check for MBS errors on the way. So sounds like a nice idea.
Yeah, it's a good question, Margaret. And because Margaret's doing this right now, I don't know that we need anything this elaborate, Margaret, but understanding at least at the beginning. So there was a little bit of a question from Karsten about the two errors. There was a Boolean is error, and that's there is an error, but it doesn't really tell you how many errors there are. And
Well,
then
is error is just for the last function.
yeah, just
So
the last
is error
one.
gets set here by this function because it's produced an error. Then the next function, maybe here, is called. It returns a value and no error, so it clears the error flag.
It works the same as get last error from the Claris platform, the FileMaker platform. So it works the same as that. The has errors, having it greater than 0 does make sense because it's in a numeric value that will be larger, but it could be 0, it could be 1, or it could be 23. You don't know what's going to be in there, right?
Yeah. So I will just do here perform script and just use a new script to log errors. So you could just call this on the end from any script to have it check for the errors and put it in the log file, log table. So again, yeah, new records here. So did it delete the file? Let's run it again. So no file, okay. Wait, do we need to turn it off maybe? So FileMaker makes a new file. No, I'm confused.
Oh, it didn't make it after you delete it, didn't make a new file?
Yeah.
Should have.
Seems not to make a new file.
Or is the new file shouldn't be hidden, right? So
the hidden code is still there, yeah. But so it made a new file on the first time while it stopped. So there's no new file, and it also doesn't. Oh, there it is. So eventually it did make one.
okay.
So let's see again. So yeah, maybe it's mandatory to turn it off.
Before it creates a new.
Yeah. Let's put it here. So make sure FileMaker makes a new file. Makes a new file. Okay. Something learned today.
Yes, no, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. This will make sifting through and messing up my MBS functions much easier when I wander around going like, what did I make a mistake on?
All right. Well, I don't have anything else at the moment. Anyway, that's it for now. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks, Christian Schmitz. Awesome work.